Donald Trump's criminal trial resumes this morning. Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen, a crucial witness for the prosecution, will take the stand. Aaron Katersky is at the courthouse. Good morning, Aaron.
George, good morning. Prosecutors have just called Michael Cohen to the witness stand. He entered the courtroom. Donald Trump did not appear to look at him as he took his seat in the witness box for a confrontation years in the making. Cohen set to testify how he buried stories about sex to keep them away from voters.
So what are we going to think? Funding, yes.
In September 2016, Michael Cohen surreptitiously recorded this conversation with Donald Trump about the $150,000 hush payment to Playboy model Karen McDougal by National Enquirer publisher David Pecker.
When it comes time for the financing, which will be...
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
I'll pay with cash.
No.
To prosecutors, the recording is powerful evidence of Trump's involvement in an alleged scheme to buy and bury salacious stories before they could harm his chances in the 2016 presidential election. The jury will hear it again when Cohen testifies against his old boss, as he did before Congress in 2019 when Cohen said Trump ordered him to pay off adult film star Stormy Daniels.
Mr. Trump directed me to use my own personal funds from a home equity line of credit to avoid any money being traced back to him that could negatively impact his campaign.
The jury has already seen the paper trail, the shell company Cohen opened, how he funded it with a HELOC, the wire transfer to Daniels, the invoices he prepared, the checks Trump signed to pay him back, and the ledger entries where Trump labeled those payments legal expenses.
What did the president ask or suggest that you say about the payments or reimbursements?
He was not knowledgeable of these reimbursements, and he wasn't knowledgeable of my actions.
He asked you to say that.
Yes, ma'am.
The defense called Cohen a convicted liar and said Cohen has a goal, an obsession with getting Trump. Defense attorney Todd Blanche told the jury, "I submit to you that he cannot be trusted." And prosecutor Josh Steinglass conceded Cohen has what you might consider to be some baggage. Even the judge said Cohen needed to be told to refrain from making any more statements about this case after ABC News spotted him on TikTok antagonizing Trump.
Trump 2024, more like Trump 20 to 24 years.
The entire trial has been building to this, George. From Stormy Daniels, jurors heard about sex. From David Pecker, about the alleged scheme to cover it up. Now prosecutors hope Michael Cohen will pin the crime on Trump. George.
Aaron Katersky, thanks. Let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl, and Rachel Scott, covering the Trump campaign. And Dan, let me begin with you. The prosecutors admitted Michael Cohen has baggage. What's the risk-reward of putting him on the stand?
Well, there's a huge risk and a huge reward for them potentially. You know, I've had some people say to me, why are they even calling Michael Cohen? You know, why don't they just avoid all of this? And the answer is they need to call Michael Cohen. Every other witness in this case has been central around Michael Cohen. What prosecutors have tried to do thus far is bolster his credibility, is present witnesses who are there to say that what Michael Cohen will tell you is true. David Pecker, some of the accountants, et cetera, to say this is all going to be backed up with records and other witnesses. The problem, of course, is that when they go after Michael Cohen, it's going to be both professional and personal. Yes, they're going to talk about the fact that he's pled guilty. Yes, they're going to talk about the fact that it was perjury and that since then he's suggested that his 2018 plea, at least part of it, wasn't true. But it's also going to be, I'm going to be really interested in how much of this is personal. How much of this is driven by Donald Trump? And by the way, that may be both helpful to the defense and also maybe too much as a legal matter. So that's going to be really interesting to see.
And John, you and I both covered Michael Cohen for a long time. What a journey he has had with Donald Trump.
Oh, it is personal. Look, Trump calls him a rat and a traitor, but this is the guy who once said that he would take a bullet for Donald Trump. He did his dirty work. George, I remember doing an interview with Trump more than a year before he announced he was running for president, and Michael Cohen threatened to knock over our camera if the interview didn't go well for Donald Trump. I mean, he was the bully. He did anything for Trump. And then he turned, and he turned hard. The way Michael Cohen sees it, he went to prison in large part because of what he did on Donald Trump's behalf, and Donald Trump left him out to dry. And believe me, now Michael Cohen is out to get Donald Trump, and you'll see that today.
And Rachel Scott, Donald Trump is under this gag order. That did not stop him from talking about the case at that wild rally on Saturday night.
Escalating his attacks against the Manhattan district attorney, really disparaging comments about him. Look, former President Donald Trump was back out on the campaign trail for the first time in 2 weeks. And George, we talk about just how not normal this is. President Biden has had 8 campaign stops since this trial began. Donald Trump has had 3, and 2 of them were on the same day. And this is why we are seeing so much pressure from those who are close to the former president to try to even possibly name a running mate to get somebody else out there. But I am told it is very hard to get the former president to focus on anything else but this trial. We know it's become the
But he
centerpiece
did
of this
appear with
campaign.
one potential one on Saturday, Doug Burgum, who was running against him, former governor of North Dakota.
Yep, his former rival, and I'm told Trump likes him because he is one of the wealthiest governors out there. He believes he could be good for fundraising. One of many that it's on this possible short list of contenders for running mate. George, what is notable, though, just how many of them will not say whether or not they will accept the 2024 results. Many of them hedging on that, and so many on that list also won't commit to accepting the 2020 results either, George.
Remember, he's allowed to attack the DA, and he's allowed, that's not a violation.
He's allowed to
of the
attack
gag order.
Biden. He's allowed to attack the DA. He's
Right.
allowed to talk to the judge, really.
Right, exactly. So when we talk about him giving these speeches, and despite the gag order, he's not violating the gag order by attacking the DA.
Thank you all very much.
Yep.